Hey, it's Ariel. So, tonight, I keep having different things I wanted to talk about. I'm like, okay, which one? Um, so, one of them is that it's a beautiful night, and I love sitting out here at night. Like, I love it so much. And I decided to put my headphones on because my aunt said she couldn't hear me very well when I was sitting out here. But I really want you guys to be able to hear the crickets and stuff. So I think I'll take it out in a minute and let you hear that. But just today, had a big day. I One of the things that is interesting in my life is that I have I'm a night owl, and the thing is that people talk about that, right? Like some people are just night owls or something like, but people often think that it's just like we want to stay up or like just happen to or um, for me it's not that way. And it's interesting because once I really started looking at my sleep, because I was just keeping track of it, I keep track of it manually. So I don't keep track of it like with an app that tells me how much I slept, because a lot of times I'm lying there and I'm not asleep. So I just didn't like those apps. So I just put in when I know I slept. And my sleep has gotten a lot better in the last year. And that is because I used to always try to go to bed. Like, the idea is like people go to bed about 10 o'clock, right? So I would try to go to bed at 11 because I was like, okay, that's close, you know? And so I would get ready for bed and then like get in bed at about 11, and then I would just lie there. And this happened every single night. So a lot of times I didn't get into bed till midnight, and I wasn't sleepy though. I mean, I'm always exhausted. So that's one of the things that's a little different is like I'm always exhausted. So I always need to be lying down, and I took a nap this evening because, I just was exhausted. So it's not that I'm not tired. It's that the difference is that being sleepy and being able to fall asleep, unless you're just like dog tired, is different. So, and I have that sometimes where I'm just like crashed and like lay down and fall asleep. um, but most of the time, that's not the case at night. And so, um, growing up, my mom was a night person too. And unfortunately, she passed away when I was 22. But once I learned about, basically, I was like, looking at my sleep, and then I realized like I never was actually falling asleep before like 2 a.m. And I was like, okay, this is crazy. I lie in bed every night for hours, literally, like 2 or 3 hours, just lying there trying to fall asleep. Okay. And so I'll listen to meditations and I'll listen to music and I'll listen to, and like hypnosis, sleep hypnosis, all of that, and sometimes fall asleep, right? But most of the time it didn't matter. And then I get hungry, and then I have to get up and eat, and then I get really annoyed. And like that's just what kept going on. So finally, I was just so frustrated, and I said it to my therapist one time. I'm like, I just can never fall asleep before 2 a.m. And she goes, why don't you stop trying? And I was like, what? No one had ever suggested that to me. Okay, like no doctor had ever said, well, maybe your sleep problem is not that you like can't sleep, because I have tried every sleep med, literally, and none of them were working. Okay, none of them have worked, except finally when I started going to bed at 2. I was taking this sleep med that is supposed to go with your cycle, and it wasn't working because I was trying to go to bed at 11 and it didn't work, right? So I thought the med was not working. So I started taking it and going to bed at 2, and it did actually help me fall asleep because it's working with my circadian rhythm. So I figured out that I have a different circadian rhythm than anybody else, not anybody, the majority of people. And so I've learned to embrace being a night owl. It's hard because I have a lot of friends on the East Coast who I don't get to be a lot of daytime hours available with them. And so it actually is a bummer. And I don't really like, the fact that I have to get up later in the day. I miss a lot of the daytime stuff. But the thing is I've never slept this well. Like, I was literally getting myself up at like 9 or 10 in the morning and like just, I mean, it was so horrible. It's like, I feel like I was falling over. And when you start to realize, like, if your circadian rhythm is different, like about how far off, um, it's called delayed sleep phase disorder, and I will put a link to that. Um, and there's also some good Facebook groups that people can help you learn about it. And mine is like 4 or 5 hours delayed, which means that, when I'm trying to get up at 9 o'clock in the morning, that's like 4 or 5 in the morning to me. And I really mean it when I say it feels like that. And so all these years trying to get up for school and get up for work, and I've been like, and then I can't go to sleep until at least midnight. And so I just have been so sleep deprived the majority of my life. And then once I realized that the best sleep I get is also during those hours. So sleeping from like 2 to 12 or so is my best sleep schedule. And so I have embraced that. It's really good to realize that, figure it out, and just let it be. And I love nighttime because I feel good. I'm not even sleepy yet. I'm tired, but it's only 1 o'clock, and I hopefully will get sleepy in the next hour or two. But anyway, trying to keep this short and my time's up. But if you want to know more about it, I will try to do more about it another time. But it's okay to be a night owl. And I think the thing that I didn't realize is that I love nighttime partially because I feel better.